Till Tuesday.
How's it going, Dean?
I have had a crazy past few days and super busy. Hey, it's Heather. Heather, I think I finally had an epiphany because, I haven't been a tremendously, enthusiastic fan of social media as far as business goes, right?
Right.
And I think I finally had an epiphany. And it's this. You can look around and you can try to get all the advice that you want to get, but ultimately there's you should find the thing that you think you're comfortable with and just do that.
Like find the channel or find the how
sort
you
of
post
here's what sparked the epiphany. So last Thursday we for I don't know 3 or 4 weeks we had pre-scheduled last Thursday. Last Thursday wasn't one of our normal Thursdays for 30 minutes. Last Thursday I did for free the positioning workshop that I do, I've done like a bazillion times, right? But those are always 1-to-1. And I guess, I don't know if you can call something a workshop if it's only 2 people in it, you and someone else. But we did it. We had, I think, just under or just about 150 people registered for it. And I think about 40, was it 40, John? 43?
Little under, about 30, 36, 37 were showing
37? Up. Okay. So about a little more than a fifth, right? Mm-hmm. Actually attended live as opposed to watching a replay. And you've given lots of events. You know that the percentage of people who will click OK, register me for a LinkedIn event versus the number who show up is like, there's a wide discrepancy there. Right?
Some of us like to watch it later at 2 times speed.
A lot of people deliberately, they sign up just to watch it later.
Content, I like to watch it later. If it's brand new to me, I want to be there.
Yeah.
So were you finding that was working for you? Is this what you're saying?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I would much rather not, these videos aside, but as opposed to every day sort of commenting on people's stuff and sharing stuff and whatever, I think that's the angle that suits me really well. That once a month or so, have a big event, invite lots of people leading up to the event. I would point out that we didn't, or at least I didn't. We invited virtually no one via the built-in invite people mechanism on LinkedIn, which is just generally terrible as a mechanism. Right? You can't even sort people alphabetically. You can't sort them by where they are, what country they're in, what industry they're in. You can't do anything. It's just they're just sort of randomly listed there. And when you have 6,000 plus contacts like I do, that's basically impossible to read them all and figure out which one you should send. So we didn't go down that route at all, but instead just did LinkedIn messaging and email to the email lists. And that sort of a bigger set piece where I have time to put together the message and make sure that it's as absolutely valuable for everyone who attends or signs up for it and wants the workshops up as possible. And do that just once a month is way better for me. It brings my level of satisfaction that I've delivered great quality to the threshold I need it to be. Otherwise, I always feel terrible about it afterwards. I didn't do everything I could have done and more. And also the follow-ups have been fantastic, including meetings all week long from people who were in it last week. And we're having, can you help me do this and that kind of meetings this week.
Right. Nice.
I've done 3 so far this week.
You want to operate primarily where you feel most comfortable. What's your wheelhouse? Are you a writer? Are you a teacher? Are you a video person? Are you a whatever?
Yeah.
And you can always build other content off of that. You can pay somebody else to say, go watch my video and make me some social posts, or read my blog post and make me some social posts. But you got to be in your own wheelhouse when you're selling you. Do what you do best.
Everyone has this in their mind. They have this sort of what their response should be from any individual person. And I know that when I was doing just the one-off LinkedIn sessions where I was helping the LinkedIn About profile, and we take an hour and blah, blah, blah. I think John had one done. You might have had one done too. right? The compliment or the response, not a compliment, the response I was looking for from people when we finished and I'd written it for them live was, that's me. Right? What I'd written is, that's me. Like, I didn't know how to say it, but that's me. And for everything else that I do, it's like, I had never thought about that before, or I'd never thought about it in that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Like, that's the reaction I'm looking for. I want something they've never thought of before, or something they've thought of lots of times, but never in this way. And that's what I'm aiming for. I can't really get that when I'm just resharing other people's posts and writing small things, or even blog articles mostly.
Right.
So yeah, maybe I finally landed on the approach that works best for me.
Woohoo!
It's cool.
And it's a great one because there's not enough people out there doing that. Everybody writes posts, right?
That thing took 90 minutes to do, like to deliver. It was a 90-minute LinkedIn Live session.
Mm-hmm.
And look at, you know how you get you've done LinkedIn Live sessions. You've done lots of them. Like you can look at the analytics after the fact.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at your analytics? It's on the event page, but you're the only one who can see it because you created the event.
I might have scanned it. It wasn't impressive, I guess.
Well, I was surprised by the analytics on this one because it started off kind of slow. The first third, it was actually like, and then interest and number of people and engagement, everything kept growing. It spiked up in the second section, and it spiked up again in the third half hour.
That's impressive. So I've only done like 20, 25 minutes. I didn't like to go over 30 minutes for what I was doing. So if you're giving a course, that's a totally different story. And those numbers sound fantastic. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want retention, and you want somebody who's messaging their friend to be like, get on this live. Like, you need to be learning this right now. So
this is And I mean, I kind of understood because the first half hour, we kind of had to go over the basics, and it wasn't particularly interesting or new. No, I don't think, well, I mean, for a lot of the first half hour, I don't think anyone would have said, I never thought about that before. But the second half hour, definitely. And the third half hour, absolutely.
Well, that speaks to retention, but not adopting new viewers. And so my guess is that that has to do with the engagement. And I would assume the algorithm is being friendly to you, but that's always a dangerous assumption with LinkedIn.
Yeah. You don't want to rely on the LinkedIn algorithm.
No.
Oh, my. But yeah, this is like, it finally worked out, and it worked out really well. We're already thinking about what we're going to do. I think I'm going to do the niche workshop, like the niche presentation I give to like industry groups when I'm brought in as a speaker.
Sure. To
talk about like how to choose your niche and like how to think about it differently, because all the ones I see are all about like, what's your main motivation, and I don't like, I start at the other end. Like, what will a prospect pay attention to so that you might eventually make money at something?
Right.
Like in a B2B sales environment, not a buy this course for $89 kind of thing.
Right.
And then work backwards from there. And that's the way I do it. And, the 4 types of niches that people have. And I'm looking at that and I could totally do a talk on that. I would love to do a talk on that. I should take what I've done in the last few months and repurpose it.
Absolutely.
Oh, I feel so much better knowing that I finally got something that works for me. Gee whiz.
John, what's your big MO on social?
My big MO on social?
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly all the short video.
Yeah, the short video.
The short video stuff.
I'm still playing. I can't wait till I have my Dean moment where I'm like, this is how it's supposed to be.
What are you talking about? You're the person I go to for advice. You're supposed to have this dialed in already. What?
Look, I know how to do a lot of the things, but I don't have that emotional connection with it, right? I'm like, my way to be on social media. There's a lot of different ways. And
yes,
it's so much easier to help other people explore their own stuff. And,
for
me, it's just, and I like everything, but I don't love anything. You know what I mean? I'm difficult in general. So I've just kind of evolved over time and tried something new, and then I'll try something new for a while, and I'll try something new for a while. So that's what I like. But that's not really super helpful for, finding your spot and building an audience. So my jack of all trades tendency shoots myself in the foot a little bit when it comes to audience building. But
it does me too.
Yeah.
At times. Yeah. Those things.
Well, I hope you guys find your true social media love. I'll be doing probably the first Thursday of every month. I'm probably going to do a big set piece and then dine off of that for the remainder of the month.
I think that's a great way to go. Especially because you already have 6,000 followers who are probably relevant. I'm still struggling with my large proportion of my folks not being relevant, being from an old job and all of that. So I think you look at when you're building and when you're converting, right? So if your top of the funnel is looking good, then you can move down a little bit and spend a little more time in there. So I think that's a great spot, especially.
Oh, we did a couple of other things. I tried to think through because I've been to lots of yours, and I've done obviously we do a lot of these every week, right?
Right.
But like, what are the sort of main, and I've signed up for other people's and attended, and I've signed up for lots of them and never attended and never watched the replay either, right? Because you just sort of come in and you get your LinkedIn notification, you've been invited to blah, blah, blah. And you just say, okay, sure.
Which side note, pay attention to your title, because I've seen some really unclear, undescriptive titles. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, what's the benefit to me? Work on your title. Because it's the only thing I look at. Maybe if I recognize a person, but you've got thousands of connections, you don't recognize all the people who pop up. So if I don't have name recognition with you, you better be working on that title.
Yeah. That, and there's like a back end thing that I hadn't thought of before. So just by coincidence, a month earlier, I had been poking around in Zapier, because I have a Zapier subscription, like a real beefy one that I have to use on behalf of clients, right? It'll do like 2,000 things a month for me. And I saw that there was like a LinkedIn thing, and it turns out there is a way to automate with Zapier LinkedIn, so you can connect it to other stuff, like your like MailChimp, for instance. But only under certain circumstances. And I said, oh, that's like an interesting trivia piece. Never use that again. And then a couple weeks later, it occurs to me, oh my God, I know exactly how I would use that. So what happened was, of course, you want, as great as the social media platform is, if you're going to have an event, you're trying to get people off the social media platform and onto your mailing list so you can talk to them directly, right? And so what we did was, is that here's this workshop. There's also a free workbook that you can have where you can fill in your own answers of every question that we ask is going to be here. And there's a place, like there's a Google Doc version and a Word doc version. I said, you just like click here to register. And when you register, you'll be added to the list. And when it's time, we'll send you the workbook. So we made a workbook. I made a workbook. And every single person who registered is in ActiveCampaign for me now.
Yeah.
Yep. And Zapier took care of all that on the back end. I mean, you can, at the end of your event, or even, I guess, during it, download CSV files that LinkedIn will give you. But the whole thing can be automated, and then you can do follow-ups and welcome and thanks for registering and all that kind of stuff as you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So whenever possible, offer something that lets people like add to your list. Right. The other thing is, people would say, hey, I really think this is a great workshop, but I'm not going to be able to attend live. Will it be recorded? And I had the same response for all of them. It will definitely be recorded. Go ahead and register for it. That way you'll get the workbook too.
For sure. Like, I think show up live or give me your email. I mean, that's kind of the social contract, I think, is, and even if you show up, hopefully if you show up live, if you like the content.
Right. And of the 140 something people, I should check how many ultimately registered. I think it was like 148, 145, something like that. My list grew by, I'm checking real quick here. Come on, LinkedIn. Oh, don't play. 151 people ultimately registered for it, and virtually none of them were on my list.
Nice. And where did you pull them from? Did you think that was coming from the message?
No, they were already, some of them were connections that I already had on LinkedIn, but only on LinkedIn. I didn't have their email address.
Gotcha.
And then others came in from other sources, and from John and Dr. V also like promoting it to their folks in groups they belong to and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I grew my list by 138 people, I think it came to.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
So very helpful. So yeah, by all means, connect Zapier to your LinkedIn event thing so that you can, get those people on your list and then communicate with them. It also gave me a way to talk to them in case LinkedIn was down or whatever, right?
So
on the day of.
Go back and clarify for me. You were hooking Zapier up to the LinkedIn Live event, and it was pulling emails because they registered for the event?
Yeah. So you know what Zapier is, right? Basically, it's duct tape for various services on the internet. Almost any big service you can think of Zapier has a sort of a plug-in, and so you can bolt things together that aren't necessarily connected to each other. So you can go to Zapier, and you can you always have to pick 2 services at a minimum, right? So I picked LinkedIn Events, LinkedIn Events, and ActiveCampaign, which is my version of MailChimp. I use ActiveCampaign instead of MailChimp, but and so I connected them together. So basically, it does the authentication on both, right? So you're via Zapier, you've authenticated to your account on LinkedIn, and you've authenticated to your account on ActiveCampaign or MailChimp. And so every time anyone registered, Zapier got a notification, because what you do is, here's the trick to it. This is the only way it works, as far as I know. You have to set up the thing in LinkedIn Live or LinkedIn Events, which normally I wouldn't, right? I would have set it up in Restream. All of these are just done in Restream, and it creates it for it. I couldn't do that this time. So you create that thing, and there's an option where people have like a registration form, and it's already pre-filled because LinkedIn knows who they are, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to see it in the first place because they're not logged in to LinkedIn.
So you create a registration form through LinkedIn? I
didn't create it. I just said, use a registration form. It did it for me. LinkedIn did it for me. I didn't have a choice on what was in it.
And this was under the create an event, not LinkedIn Live?
Well, I mean, LinkedIn Live is just an option for how you want to, do your event.
That must be a new addition. I haven't done LinkedIn Live.
But yeah, there's like a thing where you can say, like, if you want the easiest possible way for people to register to your event, you don't turn on the little box that says have a registration form.
Right.
But you turn on the registration form, and when they fill it out, Zapier gets a notification. Hey, the following information and person has now been registered, and then it populates your LinkedIn, your MailChimp list or ActiveCampaign list with that person, and they're auto subscribed.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was able to talk to those folks.
Yeah.
All the way through. It was great.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your help in like promoting it last week.
Hey, so how long will that be available on replay? Because I'm just in LinkedIn right now chatting with somebody.
Yeah, it's a bit. Here's the way that I do it, because you never know. I mean, as far as I know, LinkedIn will keep it forever. I send everyone to waycreative.com/event, and that's the page that we had leading up to it. And I redid it over the weekend, since it's now you can't register for the event anymore, and it has like very prominently the YouTube logo and the LinkedIn logo, and if you click either one of them, you're taken to either YouTube or LinkedIn, where the video lives in both places. And there's a little tiny form there where they can get the workbook.
Now, have you addressed the earlier, since I'm a bit tardy to the party, the problems that we had with LinkedIn kind of hiccuping in live video versus YouTube?
I don't know what I could do to address it.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if you talked about it, that you might consider.
Oh, no, I haven't. Yeah, I don't know. Heather, we were only going to do this on LinkedIn Live. And then at the last minute, we said, okay, well, if people have registered and stuff and they have to register to get their workbook, I mean, it doesn't matter if they see it on YouTube. And then some people were complaining that like LinkedIn, their feed to LinkedIn, which has nothing to do with us, was hiccuping.
It doesn't
like we'd go out for a few words and then come right back. Like basically it was dropping frames. I don't know if the same thing happened in YouTube, but we did give people a link. Well, basically we told them, if you just go to YouTube and search for the Way Creative channel, it's live streaming there right now. I don't think anyone ever came back and said, hey, I'm on YouTube and I have the same problem. Like once they went to YouTube, it seemed to be fine.
I think YouTube.
I mean, but I had the problem when I was monitoring it on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I did too. Yeah. So YouTube was working great.
Yeah. Which, in fairness, it should work great. That's its business.
Exactly.
Right. Lessons learned. I
mean, LinkedIn, to this day, after years of LinkedIn Live and live video on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is still a terrible place for videos. You can't search for a video.
No.
Still, to this day, you can't search for a post that has a video or a post that doesn't have a video. Like you can't specify, I know I read something, there's 2 of them, I want the one that didn't have the video. You can't specify for anything. You can't find. Once we'll have a guest, Heather, either this Thursday or some upcoming week, Philip Powell, who does a lot of like video production for, universities and Home Depot and all kinds of companies. And he and I had an idea like 2 years ago. We should have like a channel or a thing on LinkedIn where we point out like the best or most entertaining videos on LinkedIn that week. And that idea foundered within 30 seconds because there's no way to search for videos on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you can't look for anything, you can't point out what the best was.
Even if I go to somebody's profile, I mean, your choices are like articles, posts, and documents. Like there's no videos. So it's like you have to go by date and you just have to,
Right.
Yeah, activity.
So I never do anything just on LinkedIn anymore. The restream is so easy. So it all goes to my YouTube channel, which I don't actively promote or anything like that, but I have it. And then when I want to share it or somebody wants it, I don't send them to LinkedIn. I can't. Like there's just no. I mean, I have saved the link to the live, and so you can get there and save that, but it's just a bit of a mess. So, so I send them to, if they're going to watch the whole video, I'm not worried,
Now, I mean, I don't know how it works on Facebook. Maybe it's also flawless on Facebook. I kind of expect it is because Facebook is much keener on the video stuff than even LinkedIn is. And so that's fine. But I mean, no question, YouTube's going to be like the rock solid. Oh, by the way, we solved for the world a bug in the Restream software a few weeks ago where LinkedIn made a change on its side where you used to be able to stream to your LinkedIn profile page and your LinkedIn, like some other place, in my case, like the company page at the same time on Restream. And LinkedIn, a while back shut that down. So now you can only stream to one place on LinkedIn with your video at the time. So
that is why I couldn't log on. It took me forever because I was trying to connect and they're like, there's an error, there's an error, there's an error. And all I got is that it's going on YouTube. I don't think it's going to either of my LinkedIn. Right.
What happens was because it couldn't do both, but there was no notification of it. If you had turned on both of those channels in Restream and then went live, your live would be torn down within a few seconds. No error message, nothing. And everything goes like every other channel, not just LinkedIn, like your YouTube would go down, your Facebook. Restream would just shut down the session right away because they were getting an error and they didn't know how to resolve it. And we complained and tried it and tested it and then eventually now if you have two LinkedIn channels on your list of Restream options, you have like your personal one and your company one. If you click one, it will tell you, hey, you can have two of these going. So look at your choice and make sure. Or if you click on turn on all, it will take whichever one is first in the list, and it will automatically not turn on I noticed that today.
That didn't happen for me today, but I will pay closer attention because I was kind of rushing.
Well, now if you just hit turn on all channels, it will only turn on one of your LinkedIn channels.
Okay.
So you can't accidentally
Well, I'll just disconnect the business one because that one's, for show, not for substance.
So there you go. All kinds of lessons learned as we tried to figure out how to optimally do high engagement, long form, super high quality workshops and LinkedIn live events. Yeah. Now I think we finally got it dialed in. Oh my.
So what's the next topic? What are you doing next month? Let's start promoting it now.
Yeah, well, we're going to get it created. It's going to happen on, what is the date for that? It's going to be October the 6th. And we haven't officially decided on a topic yet, but I'm leaning towards choosing a niche versus choosing a position. What's the difference and how to choose your niche?
I like it.
And then how to talk about it with the right positioning statement.
There you go. I'm sending
niche with position.
That's good. To it.
Yeah,
but get your notice out earlier because I couldn't fit it into my newsletter because my newsletter went out on Friday.
Oh yeah.
So give me a little extra advance.
In fact, I came up with a title this morning. One of the workshop ones is the no nonsense niche selection.
No.
It's a lot of alliteration. I'm not usually a fan of alliteration, but in this case, it might work.
I'm such a big fan of alliteration. Maybe because I'm illiterate.
Somebody watching this video just reached out to me on LinkedIn, like LinkedIn Messenger, says they have projects they might be interested in.
Projects.
Ta-da.
Yeah, so there you go. So that was my big epiphany. There's like 1,000 ways to situate yourself in social media, and either through trial and error, or if I thought about it, I should have thought about it. find an angle that like suits you. Whatever it is you want to try to do, chances are you could set up like that on social media without having to like, follow the standard advice or, contort yourself into a different shape.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you pay other people to do. Like I said, you find your own voice, and then you create content with that in the way that suits you. And all of that can be broken up and made into posts and snippets taken out and all that other stuff. But you got to start with your if you're in it to be a thought leader, you got to start with your own voice.
The one thing I do like about LinkedIn Live is that your banner dissolves and becomes the video. That's the one feature I would say that is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
I took a screenshot of it so you can see later.
Yeah, please. What are you talking about?
I always had my profile up so I could make sure it was streaming properly. I had like
holy crap!
Open and make sure. And
it's
Twitter would
cool.
do the same. Twitter doesn't do the same. They do it to your banner image, but I would pop all of the outlets up because I just wasn't convinced that the magic would work. There's always
I just got the holy crap. I'm watching a delayed video.
Yeah, and there is a delay.
23 people have watched it on YouTube. We weren't even counting them in the 38. I mean, some of those were live, but like people have been watching it every day since we did it on YouTube. No, I bet no one's going to LinkedIn. I mean, if you see, here's the link, watch it on YouTube, watch it on LinkedIn. No one's like, why would I watch a video on LinkedIn?
Why would I watch a video on LinkedIn? I can't even search for videos on LinkedIn.
Right? On YouTube, I can save it to my own playlist. I can watch it later. I can do all kinds of stuff with it. On LinkedIn, I can't do anything.
No.
So yeah. Wow, I'm really surprised by that. I honestly, God, thought it would get like one view.
No. It's
so there you go. Yeah, definitely going to do big set pieces from now on.
You just remember that YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to be there?
Yeah. So that was my epiphany. I feel so good about this now. It's working so well for me. I love doing the big set pieces. It's going to be fantastic. I don't think I need 90 minutes for the next one. I think the next one we can do in an hour.
Yeah.
And if anyone else, by the way, wants to do like a big set piece, let me know. I'm happy to help. I know I'm looking at the camera while I said, so it sounds like I'm saying that to the whole world. I'm not. I'm only saying it to the people on this call.
Okay, I'm totally.
I thought you were reaching
Oh my God, no. Are you kidding?
The globe.
No, I'm just saying to you guys, thanks for your help and over the past many months and all these videos, Heather, John, Dr. V. And if you wanted to do like a bigger set piece kind of one, I'd be happy to like take what little I've learned and then about this particular thing and everything I know about doing longer set piece, audience attention based kind of stuff, and helping you make yours. Not the whole world, not everybody in the whole world.
Of course not.
My God.
You've
making
stimulated
a note.
my little
I'm
brain.
glad I'm in the room today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always good to be in the room.
And John, I don't know what progress you've made or not made on your new upcoming like short your booklet, but you let me know because I'm ready. I offered to help with the editing, and I will help with the editing.
About the same as you, I'm afraid.
I'm in pretty good shape. I've got everything. I've got the outline and everything done, and now I'm about to do it in Pages.
Okay. You're ahead of me.
John and I are working on a project together where we're each making in an accountability exercise to make a short book.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like a little ebook or a short workbook?
No, like it's a short ebook.
Yeah,
Like I've got 2 out already, one around copywriting concepts and one about like sales that are actually on waycreative.com/event. Right. Mm-hmm. But actually we should put that in the chat.
Are these in the 120 plus page category or are these...
No.
More like a 30, 40 page category.
30 or 40? Oh, okay. These are like little mini things.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just put the page. There are 2 of the booklets in there, and then I'm writing I'm writing a third, and I'm not sure if this is John's first or what, but we're holding each other accountable to write them. There's a new format that we're trying out. Oh, and Heather, get this. You know how like sometimes you'll say, "Oh, that's an interesting name. I wonder if the .com for that is still available." I I did a search for, everyone knows that like what bookofthemonth.com might be, right?
Yeah.
It turns out bookletofthemonth.com was completely available, and I grabbed it.
Sure. The booklet of the
Nice.
month. Well, and don't forget John's favorite, which is hotbaldguys.com.
John owns that domain name.
Yes, he does own that.
Literally owns it.
Hasn't yet been done with it.
None of others.
I don't know what he'll ever do with it, but he owns that one. But booklet of the month was like wide open, so I said, "Oh, I gotta grab that. That's crazy."
Some of us are fans of bald men, so
Sure.
I'll send you a picture of Jim to post on there.
Just
Okay, done.
to see if Hot Bald Guys of the Month is club is available.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, that was a funny thing because I've got a friend of mine that is a big domain reseller, and that was one of the things he had to say. I'm like, I don't know what I would do with that.
What would you ever do?
I feel like I hang out in that.
I don't know what I would do with it either.
So here we are.
Well, on that
So-
note,
Head
it's,
wax.
On that note, time to go.
Run away.
Yeah.
All right then.
All right, we're back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Website Wednesday again.
It's the best day of the week.
The worst day of the week.
Oh, come on.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.